Hi folks, welcome into another edition of This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and man, have I got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be bringing in the Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, Commissioner Sean Tindell. Looking forward to this conversation. Our own Senator Dean Kirby is bringing him in today so that we can talk about the DPS. I think you're really going to like this. So don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we will bring in Commissioner Sean Tindell. We'll be right back.
Here in Pearl, we have Trustmark Park. It seats 8,500 people. It's a great venue that we have here locally. You can catch a baseball game. We have a new team, the Mississippi Mud Monsters, so we're so excited about that. And Trustmark Park, the stadium's been fully renovated. Adjacent to that, we have Bass Pro Shop, as well as the Mississippi outlets that people can come shop and enjoy and have a great time. So it's a good place to come. It's a destination spot for our city. We did a $12 million renovation to our Parks and Rec several years ago, and what we were missing was another key area for our children to come and just be able to hang out and have fun, but also have some playground equipment that was really cutting edge. I've always thought if you can get your community together, then you can have a stronger sense of community. And I think that's what Main Street brings to the table for us. And even though we're a post-World War II city and our architectural doesn't signify a downtown, we're trying to have an area that we create that people can come together and have a sense of community.
Hi folks, welcome back into another edition of This Week in Pearl, where I am now joined by my esteemed guest, who I'm excited to have on the show again, Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, Sean Tindell. Yes. Welcome. And our own Senator Dean Kirby has brought him in this morning. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
How are y'all today?
Doing wonderful. It's
good.
Beautiful day in Mississippi.
It's another great day in Mississippi, right? Yeah. So we're filming this on a Wednesday. It looks like it might rain. The air feels so, oh my gosh, it feels so heavy. I woke up this morning with hay fever. I mean, does everybody know what that is?
Oh yeah, been battling that. So we might have gotten our last bout of cool weather for a while.
I think so.
I hope so.
Oh my gosh, I mean, my assistant was just talking the other day about wearing a coat in May.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm wearing a coat in May. I'm like, I know, right? It's Mississippi weather. It's about like Mississippi politics.
You can have 4 seasons in one day in Mississippi, and very much like Mississippi politics.
Yes, it very much is. Too. All right, so welcome back to the show.
Glad to be here.
It's been almost a year since we had you. So tell us a little bit about Mama and them and the kids, and give us an update. How's everybody?
Everybody's great. My wife Claire and our 4 kids. We live down on the coast, and we're in the middle of baseball seasons. We just wrapped up. My older boys play high school baseball for Gulfport High. We just wrapped that up.
Yep.
And my younger one's still doing all his summer baseball. My daughter's doing volleyball and soccer, and
coaching any of that?
I help with the teams these days. I've learned after coaching my younger kids, my older kids, that my younger kids are better athletes because I don't coach them. So I've learned to let other people do that.
Wait a minute, your younger kids are better athletes because you're not involved.
My kids perform much better when I'm not their coach. So as much as I love it, now I'm in a role of just trying to encourage them to be the best.
That's fantastic. But so everybody's good?
They're great. Everybody's great. It's about to get out of school down there. I've got one that's graduating, about to head to Mississippi State next year.
Okay.
And he was back and forth, Southern Miss, Ole Miss, and State, and settled in on Mississippi State. So it's going to be a change in our household, something we're going to have to get used to.
You're going to have one leaving.
Yeah, but it's going to be one good summer before he goes, and one more good summer. And we're going to try to do some family trips and make sure we spend that time bonding before he heads off. A good friend of mine, Josh Harkins, senator from Rankin County, also. He's got 2 daughters at Mississippi State, and he told me recently, he said, Sean, once they go off to college, you just got to remember that for the rest of their life, there'll be a visitor in your house now. And that kind of knocked me back a little bit, that it truly changes the dynamic of the house when they graduate and leave. So.
It really does. And empty nest syndrome is true, because I experienced it when I had 4 boys. Off they go, and Josh is exactly right.
Yeah.
Because when that last one left, I'm just thinking, wow, it's so quiet around here.
Well, and so I still got an 11-year-old, so I've got 7 more years of the joy that the baby child will brings to our lives.
Yes, right. You do have still. All mine were pretty close together, so it was just boom, boom, boom. It was just gone.
But they're all doing great.
That's
and,
great.
You know, and I graduated from Gulfport High many moons ago, 1992, and to watch my kids go to Gulfport High, and
Yes.
and I, you know, I think truly want to stay in Mississippi the way I did. They love the coast. They love this state. They don't really have a desire to go anywhere else. And I just, it makes me feel so good. We hear about brain drain and all those things in Mississippi. And I think really we just need opportunities. And if those kids have opportunities, they're going to stay here.
No, I think that's fantastic, and you're right, because we talk about that on the show, don't we, Senator?
all the
We
time.
talk about trying to keep the talent in Mississippi. Let's bring the jobs to Mississippi, because so many people that are talented and smart, they just leave.
That's right.
And I think it's great that we're able to educate our kids to that point, but we need them to stay here.
Absolutely.
And-
And they
and-
want to stay. Most important, they
Right.
want to stay.
Right, and we need that. We need to continue to grow Mississippi, and we talked about that just recently, did we not, Senator?
Oh, yeah.
About the bills and stuff that y'all approved to keep people in Mississippi.
Well, we do everything we can to keep our kids here. So,
Yeah. All right, so one of the things that the legislature gave you was a brand new building. Let's just jump right into that. They
Very
gave
exciting.
you a brand new building. I think we actually have some video of this building that we're going to show. Of you, the governor. I wonder who that guy is standing over there. But tell us a little bit about your new building.
Well, I mean,
Look how pretty it is.
it's in Pearl, Mississippi, and there's a gentleman sitting here next to my right that has had this vision for years, that the headquarters for the Department of Public Safety be located there in Pearl. Had a peer study done many years ago, and really, truly is the one that deserves most of the credit for getting us there.
Right. I mean, that's just beautiful.
And then you look at what was built, and it truly is magnificent. 160,000 square feet of space that takes all 11 divisions of what is the Mississippi Department of Public Safety and puts them on one campus for the first time ever. And so now our Highway Patrol will work more closely with CTED and more closely with Capitol Police, and now our NBI and NBN and Homeland Security are all on the same floor working more closely together. Our crime lab is across the parking lot. So when we need a drug analysis done, or we need to get that autopsy report, we can walk across the parking lot.
Right.
And so it just is a great day for the Department of Public Safety. It's a great day for Mississippi and public safety in Mississippi. Our meetings will take place when we have the Board of Law Enforcement Officer Standards and Trainings meetings. We have sheriffs and chiefs come in from all over the state to meet, to set standards for law enforcement and review certificates, have hearings. They're going to be doing it in this building. Before they had to do it in an annex up in Pearl. So I mean, Pearl, up in Madison. So
Right.
now we're going to be here centrally located, and I just think it's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful building. Thank you, Senator Kirby, for your efforts and support in
Well,
getting this across the finish line.
Let me tell you, of course, Tom Weathersby really helped on the House side too. And no one person can do anything up
Sure,
there.
right.
I don't care who
we,
it is.
We have a look. We had a ton of video. We cut it down to like a minute. We could have shown tons of video of the building, but yes, go ahead.
But you're right. I mean, there were independent studies done years and years ago, and it said that it should be in Rankin County, and so should the crime lab. And we got the crime lab, but I couldn't get anyone really interested in the highway patrol or the public safety. And then here comes Sean, and he said, and I asked him about it. He said, "What are you talking about?" And I told him, and boy, he jumped on it. I mean, he just jumped in feet first. Yeah, he really did, and then and helped me sell the lieutenant governor on it. And Delbert really helped. He asked 4 million questions,
He
and
did.
he wanted some things
He did.
changed. There's no doubt about it. But
Right.
but with his help and the lieutenant governor, and then of course on the House side, they followed suit pretty much. And so
Yes.
yeah, it's a great building. It's wonderful in Mississippi. It's great for Rankin County and good for Pearl.
It's good for Pearl and Rankin County. It's another agency right here in Pearl.
And I think a lot of people don't realize, I mean, one of the reasons why it does make so much sense is MEMA is right there. The Fire Academy is right next
there.
door.
Yeah.
Now DPS in its full capacity is right
Crime lab
there.
across the street. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got it all. I mean,
The Law Enforcement Officers Training Academy, Central Mississippi Correctional Facility, all those things, Whitfield, all those things are in that general area, and there's a lot of state assets right there, and a lot of it has a public safety nexus. When you talk about MEMA, when you talk about the fire academy, when you talk about the law enforcement officers training academy, when you talk about corrections, and now it's all centrally located right there. And,
Yeah, and the one person in the beginning is hard to believe, but the person that really tried to help us a lot was Billy McCoy. When he was speaker way back before Philip Gunn and way
Yeah.
back
before I got in the legislature.
Right. That's
McCoy kept saying, "When you gonna get it? When you gonna get it?" We're pushing it. We're doing our best.
this is about like West Metro Parkway, right?
Oh my God, no, it's not that bad.
No, not that long.
No, this was like several years after that.
I love messing with the senator about that. How long
It took us over 30 years.
30
to get
years
that
just to
far.
get a road.
But that is the amazing thing about this
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
Y'all have been blessed to have him as your senator.
We
here.
Nah.
Yes,
He
we
has
have.
visions for things, and if it doesn't happen one year, it's going to happen the next year, or it might be 30
Or it
years
might be
later.
30 years
That's
later.
happened.
But he has seen it through.
I know, right.
And has been just a
know,
blessing
right.
for
Well,
this area.
thank you, but as you know, no one person can
No.
do anything, and it's been
He's
a
so
lot
humble.
of people.
He is.
He is.
Oh,
He's
well,
very
I'm
humble.
telling you, had he not really gotten in and pushed it, we wouldn't have gotten this than we did.
Well, no, I agree. It's a team effort, and you truly were maybe the catalyst that helped get it over.
Well,
Absolutely.
and really too, it wasn't like could stay in the building we were in.
Right.
And so
Right.
when I got to DPS, I walked in the building and I was happy to take on the role as commissioner. I was not too happy with the facility I was in.
Sure.
And there were a lot of issues there. Mainly it was sinking in the ground.
Help remind the folks, when was that facility built?
It was
When did-
completed in 1973.
That's what I was, the 72 or
The other
73.
building was in the 50s.
Was
wasn't
in
it?
with the
That's right. In the building, the other part of the building was built in the 50s.
right.
And then we had a crime lab that had been vacant, and then it's along a ditch there, right off Woodrow Wilson. So
Right.
it was all starting to sink.
Yep.
And it really, we number one, we had outgrown the facilities, but number two, the facilities had deteriorated to a point. It really was not a good, healthy place to work.
Yeah,
Employees
Frank-
were having health issues, and so we had to get out. And so when he brought it up, of course, my eyes lit up. Like,
Hey, let's do this.
Yes,
Right.
we got to do this.
And it costs a lot less to build a new one in a new location than knock that one down and start
Oh
over.
yeah, the state already owned the property.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And well, you can't believe once we started pushing it, how many people had property they wanted it
Oh,
all,
well, of course.
all over.
The state
everything.
owns a lot of property out here in Rankin
Oh,
County.
yeah.
Well, and
I didn't see buying property when we already owned some.
That's
Right.
And look, the location
where it
where the
is.
old headquarters is a premier location for the state. And whether they work with UMMC in the new cancer center or some sort of multi-purpose district, facility where you have hotels and restaurants. I mean, that is a premier corner.
It is.
That's best use is more commercial
Yes.
than it is
For
being,
your office.
being the highway patrol.
In the old location, honestly, you had one building that was coming apart. I mean, it was actually coming apart. And another building, the towers, I call it, was sinking.
Yeah.
And at one time, people in that building actually had to go to the hospital because of gas leaks.
Yes.
So,
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
it was time.
It was time to do something different. Well, it's great that it's there. You've consolidated everybody now into one building, which
That's
saves
the good
money.
part, and
That's
that's-
number one. So let's move to topic number two. Let's move into the legislator passing, I think it's a House bill that allows you to actually bring, I think, from 11 divisions down to 7. Have I got that right?
That's how it started.
Oh,
So
what it-
as it initially, the goal, we looked at MBI, MBN, and Homeland Security, and the directors of those divisions came together and brought me a plan to consolidate for one Mississippi Bureau of Investigation instead of having 3 different divisions. And so with their plan, I brought it to the legislature. Well, as we're going through the process, and it goes Senate, it goes House, it comes through, committee considers different things. The topic came up, well, why are we just consolidating that? What about everything else? So in the end, the House bill that passed created 4 units at the Department of Public Safety. The first being our uniform division of the Department of Public Safety, which consists of Highway Patrol, the Commercial Transportation Enforcement Division, and Capitol Police.
Okay.
So that's the Mississippi State Patrol. That is our uniform division. All those different divisions still have their own identity,
Sure.
but they fall underneath that unit. The second unit is the MBI, which is the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations, Bureau of Narcotics, Homeland Security, and the Forensics Lab. So now that's all part of MBI. The third unit is the Mississippi Law Enforcement Division, which is our public safety and planning, the Officers of Standards and Training, the Mississippi Law Enforcement Officers Training Academy, and the Driver Services Bureau.
Good golly.
So instead of having 11 different budgets now that we
Yes.
present to the legislature for those 11 different divisions, we will come in with 4 different budgets for our uniform division, our investigative division, and then all our other divisions.
Sure.
And make that budget presentation. And what we found as we were looking into it, the Bureau of Narcotics was spending $40,000 a year on software, and it was the same software that NBI was spending $40,000 a year on, and it was the same software that Homeland Security was buying for another $40,000 a year. Now we're just going to spend $50,000
And consolidate
across the
all of
whole
it.
board.
Right.
Yes, and so it's going to save money. And our goal ultimately, people say, well, we're going to get your budget cut next year because you're going to save money. My goal is to take the money that we save and then push it more to the front lines of public safety. Better equipment, better salaries, things like that for these men and women who put it on the line every day to make Mississippi safer.
No, and I think that's fantastic, and it's going to save a lot of money, I believe, over time.
And it'll make Mississippi safer.
So this is a guy with vision.
Yeah. Apparently.
So, yeah, I mean, everything's worked out wonderful. You know, we all knew in the beginning that he was going to do a good job, and I want to tell you how we knew it in the legislature. We were getting calls every day, and several a day sometimes, on driver's license. People were standing in line. They would wait 2 or 3 or 4 hours, and they'd get there and they'd say, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to come back tomorrow. We're going home now."
I know, right?
It's, you know, it's time. So then they come back the next day and they have to stand in line again because it was first come, first serve type deal. And John, you may want to tell how you changed that, but we never.
Let's talk about it, because let's talk about how did you change that?
We never get a call on it anymore.
And I took the job in June of 2020, and we've actually been closed for 6 weeks due to COVID
Right.
and all that. And so the governor sat down with me and goes, "I want you to fix driver services. And by the way, reopen all our driver service stations." Still, wait, what? Okay.
Oh, and by the way,
A little overwhelmed at the time. And so I started looking at the average wait times. It was 3 hours.
right.
People are having to wait 3 hours to get their driver's license. So you're having to take off a whole day of work just to come in and get a driver's license or renew your driver's license.
Or if it was a young, first-time driver's license, the parents have to drive them there. They have to take off work.
That's right. So, it was, we were looking at it. And so I kind of sat down with our teams and I said, look, we're going to have a lot of conversations around the table. There's no bad ideas. We're going to work through them. And then ultimately, we're going to make some decisions. They might or might not work. And if they don't work, then we'll pivot or change. And what I found in government a lot of times, people are afraid to change anything out of the fear I might lose my job if it doesn't work. And I said, let's take all that off the table. Nobody's going to lose their job if an idea doesn't work. But we got to have these conversations. And so when we sat around the table and there was ideas that came up, why don't we do appointments? Well, then there was all, we can. What about this? What about that? What about this? I said, no, that's a great idea. We're going to set up an appointment system where people can pick a time online and come in here and do it. And once we started implementing it, we had some hiccups, but that drastically reduced the wait times because we found that people were showing up at 5 in the morning, creating this line around the driver's station, and then in the afternoon, there was no line at all.
Right.
But there was, and I'm convinced it was all the people that took all the toilet paper in COVID. They're the same people that show up at 5 a.m. and create the line around the building.
Yes.
And so they were
So
creating.
you're staggering it out.
Yeah. So now, hey, now you're concerned, go online and make your appointment. So now instead of getting there at 5 a.m. creating that line, they make their appointment for 2:15 in the afternoon, and they're getting in and out.
They
and
show
we're
up at
spreading
2
it out.
o'clock. Yeah. Right.
The other thing we did, we started looking at making sure that we could do as much as we could digitally, trying to expand our digital footprint and minimize some of our physical footprint. So we've got stations in some areas that are small, they don't really service a lot of people. We said, okay, let's consolidate those into our bigger offices and push more into the online portal. And that's been a big success. And of course now we have Mississippi Mobile ID. You can have your driver's license on your phone. We're about to expand that to a Mississippi wallet, where you'll be able to hold all your state credentials. If you got a hunting license, a boating license,
Firearm
permit, all that will be on your app, on your Mississippi wallet. And that's going to be the next step in the evolution of what we're doing. And simple things like firearm permits, we were making people come in every 5 years to resubmit fingerprints. And I looked at our staff and I said, why are we making people come in to resubmit fingerprints? And I mean, something that happens to fingerprints, I don't know about it. Do they change? I mean, and they said, well, and this happens in government too. There's a law that says we have to do it. So, well, show me the law. And they scurry off and they come back, well, it's not a law. it's a regulation. Well, show me the regulation. Scurry off and come back. There's no regulation. And ultimately it was, well, the FBI won't accept the old fingerprints because they need updated fingerprints and they won't read through their system. I said, well, I'll tell you what, let's do a sample of about 20 old fingerprints and see if they accept them. They accepted all of them. So now, instead of making people come in to renew their firearm permit in person and resubmit new fingerprints, we just accept their mail-in application and we can mail them their new firearm permit. They don't have to come into the station again. But that's what happens in government too. I think people are told something by somebody when they got there that this is a law.
This is the way we always do it.
It's the way we always do it.
Yeah.
And then when you break it down, that's not the way you have to do it, and we can be more efficient. And so we created those efficiencies. We minimized that foot traffic anywhere we could, and so we've seen great success with the wait times at driver services. And so, and another big thing I know that's coming up that y'all passed that I'm extremely proud of that relates to the driver services. Starting next year, in order to get a driver's license in Mississippi for the first time, every new driver will have to have graduated from a certified driver's education program. And I think that is probably one of my biggest crowning achievements is helping push that legislation through because we have been number 1 or 2 in the nation in teenage fatalities for a long time.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, teen driver and safety.
It saves money on insurance.
Yes.
Driver's ed, you get a credit.
You're kind of alluding to, I was going to ask you about teen driving and teen safety, and I was also going to ask you about what's your biggest accomplishments this year, so let's talk about that. So let's get into teen driving and safety. So how is this program supposed to work?
Well, they passed the bill 2 years ago because we knew that we needed some implementation time. And so we've also had to coordinate with the Department of Education. And so, and look, in the past, before COVID, we used to do a road test at our driver service stations. That was eliminated, and so there was concerns about getting into a car that you don't know if it's operational or good brakes. There were safety concerns. There was also getting in a car with somebody that might have the flu or some other disease, and you're in that controlled environment. There was questions about that. So that was eliminated, but we needed some sort of measure to measure these drivers. And so bringing back or instituting this mandatory driver's education, what will be incorporating that as a road test by the instructor that will have to be brought to us upon graduation. We have set up the program where we train the instructors. They have to be certified through the Department of Public Safety. They will be audited. They have to do so many hours of drive time. They have to do so many hours of classroom time. And then when they get that certificate, they'll be able to come in and ultimately get their driver's license. The other component of that bill that I think is great, my son was a 15-year-old at Gulfport High, one of the largest high schools in the state. I wanted him to take driver's ed. Gulfport didn't offer driver's education. Started looking across the state, about 50% of the schools were not offering driver's education. The bill mandated that all high schools in Mississippi are required now to offer driver's education.
And it's usually the coach, or it's usually a couple of coaches that do it.
That's right. That's right. And look, mainly it helps these young people in a skill that is a life skill. If taught correctly, will save their lives and possibly others.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, very excited about that coming on board. It goes into full effect in July of 2027. And so we are offering those driver's education courses. And again, better drivers save lives, and especially these young drivers. And if you think about it, in order to hunt in Mississippi for the last 50 years, almost 40 years, you had to take a hunter safety course.
Correct.
To operate a boat.
A boat.
You had to take a boat or safety course. And we were given the keys to vehicles which are deadly. Again, number 1 or 2 in the nation, losing 70 kids a year to teenage fatalities on our roadways.
Wow.
And we weren't requiring them to take any sort of safety education courses.
Wow.
So proud of that, proud of y'all supporting those efforts.
Oh, you pushed it.
And so
We listen.
Yes.
Like E.F. Hutton. If he speaks, we listen.
Well, you listen closely, right? All right. Well, that was one of the things I was going to ask. So, next thing I wanted to really dive into was in a broader context for all of that. How does Mississippi Department of Public Safety, coordinating with local law enforcement on issues like drug enforcement and disaster response, how is that?
One of the Governor Reeves gave me 3 core missions when I got there. 1, improve driver services. 2, work on the crime lab and some issues that we have with autopsies, and let's get out of that backlog. The third thing that he wanted me to do was make sure that our relationship with local law enforcement agencies improved. And so he wanted me going to the Sheriff Association meeting, Police Chiefs Association meetings. Last year we visited all 82 counties, met with sheriffs and chiefs in every county in the state. And that was his mission for me, was to forge those relationships with the Department of Public Safety so that when we have high crime areas and drug issues, we're better able to set up and establish task force through the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics, do undercover stings, work with our federal law enforcement partners. And one of the things that I've tried to emphasize when it comes to public safety, and we were able to work with the City of Jackson and Capitol Police and NBN on doing Operation Unified. Public safety and politics don't necessarily go together, but for politicians, good public safety is always good politics.
Of course.
So let these law enforcement officers do their jobs. We'll work with Jackson PED. We will work with Sunflower County. We'll work with any
Pearl
law
PD,
enforcement
sure.
agency in the world. We don't care about the politics of that area. We just want safe neighborhoods and put the bad guys away. And when we do that, I mean, that's good politics for everybody.
For everybody.
And so we've established pretty good task force across the state. We've done operations on the coast. We've done operations in the Delta. We've obviously done them in the Jackson metro area. We're going to continue that trend, and part of that is establishing those relationships with these local law enforcement agencies where we can set
Now,
them up.
breaking down like a task force, like the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics. You know, we here at Pearl PD have members of that task force.
That's right. That's
You know,
right.
so what you're doing is coming into local and county departments and putting together a task force under your umbrella. Is that not basically right?
Basically, and we will give credentials to a Pearl police officer, and he will be a contract Bureau of Narcotics agent, which gives him a little bit broader authority to help on the task force to go outside of the city of Pearl and enforce these drug laws. And so that's how we create those task force. And it's very much a
So
model.
basically a force multiplier,
It
really.
is, absolutely. And we do the same thing with our federal partners. They will come in and offer those same types of credentials, whether it's DEA or FBI or ATF. And then that way you can be a force multiplier and broaden out. And then it helps with the communication, especially as you're trying to break up some of these crime organizations that are, behind the scenes. And you really need to get down into the weeds and get into to some of these communities.
And they really
otherwise you
do
wouldn't be able
exist.
to.
These,
They do.
These crime organizations really do exist.
And they cross city lines, and they
Yes.
cross county lines, and they cross state lines. And so by partnering with the federal law enforcement agencies and partnering with the state agencies, we're able to get rid of some of those jurisdictional barriers that criminals like to use
Right.
to remain
Right.
Out of the public eye. So that is what we do there. When it comes to emergency response, of course, we got hurricane season coming up.
We do.
We start working with our neighboring states, coming up with contraflow plans to make sure that if a hurricane's coming to the Mississippi Gulf Coast or Louisiana coast or Alabama coast, we can turn our interstates into contraflow where they're flowing out in one direction. We try to go ahead and have our emergency response teams prepared with food and other things so that if we need to deploy down to the coast for 3 or 4 weeks, we can keep first responders fed while they're down there answering that call. And even just this past winter, some of these things you have an opportunity to know it's hurricane season
Yes.
coming. Last winter, we were all struck by the winter storm.
Right, North Mississippi.
And so we partnered with local agencies up there. I talked to sheriffs, chiefs, what do you need? What can we do? MDOT called, said we need help on these interstates. We got too many trucks on the interstate. We're trying to get the ice off. So, we deployed Highway Patrol and CTED, and those guys came from all over the state
Right.
and left their families during those times and went up there and tried to serve the people of North
Yeah, just
Mississippi.
saturated the area.
They did. They
Yeah.
did.
I mean, it's all hands on deck,
It
basically.
is. In those types of events, it absolutely is. And it doesn't matter where I'm at or what I'm doing. And, I'm there. And it doesn't matter, that Highway Patrol officer,
Yeah.
a trooper from Gulfport, he's leaving his family heading north too.
Heading north to try to help. And I'm sure there was also people from even MBI,
Oh yeah.
that we're going to go help out uniform.
Well, and that's what makes state law enforcement a little more unique is you're not just servicing one area, you're servicing the whole state. And you've always got to be willing to answer that call. A lot of times you got to be willing to go over to Louisiana. I mean, the governor's deployed troopers to Louisiana when they've had hurricanes or other events so that we can assist. We sent a bunch up to North Carolina a couple of years ago when they had those massive floods and rains in the mountains.
right.
Our special operations group sent about 30, 40 troopers there on a rotating basis trying to help the people of North
Yeah,
Carolina.
because even law enforcement in a devastation, they're devastated too.
That's right. That's right.
And they've got to be able to recover and rebuild their family, so they can't do their job when they're, I mean, obviously, right?
That's it, and so they need that break so they can go take care of the things
Right.
that they do, and it's probably been one of the most humbling things being the commissioner. I've never been a law enforcement officer. I've never tried to be that commissioner that acts like I am. You won't see me toting a badge or carrying a gun. I've tried to be an administrator to get them the resources they need, to be an advocate for what they do. But the most humbling thing that I see is the sacrifice that these law enforcement officers and first responders make on a day in and day basis. And they don't do it for financial gain. They just do it out of a love for their communities and helping their fellow mankind when they can.
Well, you know, kind of along that theme, you have the Public Safety Summit coming up. How did you and the Attorney General kind of come up with this? How did this come about, and what does it do?
Well, you know, I was sitting around and I knew the sheriffs had a conference. I knew the chiefs had a conference. I knew the fire chiefs had a conference.
Right.
I knew the district attorneys got together for a prosecutors conference.
Right.
And I started saying, why are not all our public safety officials getting together in some sort of forum, networking and hearing from speakers that can offer different insights on leadership and other qualities that we all need to look at within our agencies? Because when you do go to the prosecutors conference or the sheriff's conference, there's a lot of updates from other state agencies.
But all that's siloed.
It's all siloed and it's very specific to what they're doing. And so started looking around, and then I talked to the general about it, and she said, you know, I was thinking about the same thing. And I said, well, why don't we come together instead of I'm not looking to get credit. You're not the type of leader that's looking to get credit. Let's do this together and try to promote public safety across the board and create a network where the fire chiefs are talking to the police chiefs and the police chiefs are talking to the sheriffs and the sheriffs are talking to the DA.
Right.
And let's bring in a set of speakers that are a little bit different, that talk about leadership qualities, that talk about accountability, that can talk to all these organizational leaders about ways to improve their agency, not just the same old, you know, law update from the Supreme Court that they get at their own conferences. So it's been a real success the last 4 years that we've been doing it. We've got corporate sponsors that help fund getting some of these speakers. We've had former Navy SEALs come in. We've had FBI agents that have been involved in some of the largest school shootings come in and talk about response and how important that is. We've had motivational speakers that come in and just talk about the qualities of good leadership. Ones that come in and talk about the importance of accountability. And we've seen that in law enforcement. We've seen the ugly side when there is a loss of accountability in law enforcement, and trying to make sure that we're training this next generation of leaders to not let things like that happen again. So really proud of what that's become, and hopefully something that the next Attorney General, if General Fish does something else, will keep going.
Right. Now, who do you have this year? What does this year look like?
This year, it's a 3-day summit. We've got a variety of different speakers coming in. We try to set up some of the social forums that folks can network as well. We've got a link on our webpage that you can kind of go through the agenda and see all the different speakers that we have. But I think one of them is
I may have that,
former Navy SEAL.
Let's see. You have Operation Roadkill, Scott Payne, the National Threat Assessment Update with Robert Grooms, Facing the Press, which is always a big deal, right? And let's see, what else do you have going? Getting Inside the Mind with Phil Chalmers, isn't that how you say it? And then Fireside Chat with Deputy Director Andrew Bailey.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big one, right?
Big name, yeah.
So you've got several things on the. I just happen to have it. I am going, so I just happen to have the agenda. But yes, it is, and it's gotten bigger every year, has it not?
It has, and again, those aren't typically the type of speakers that you have come in, and that the police chiefs will hear from, or sheriffs, and so it's really about getting those folks to come in. And I benefited when I was in the legislature. Governor Reeves had sent me to a program in Virginia and some other leadership programs that I really felt like enhanced my leadership skills, and so I was really trying to create something like that here in Mississippi that we could offer.
And that's phenomenal. I think it's a great thing, and it will continue.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
sure.
And there's been talk of doing it in other parts of the state. I'm from the coast.
Sure.
But I think it's so important that we do events like that here in central Mississippi, because when you do something on the coast, folks from North Mississippi tend not to come. If you do it in North Mississippi, folks from the coast tend not to come. And it's so important that we have those types of events here.
Centralize, everybody can kind of get here. And yes, you're right, because if you do it on the coast and where you're from, the folks coming from Tupelo or DeKalb County up there, that's a long way.
That's right. That's right. And so they tend just not to come. And
You're right.
that's why I think I love that our capital city is where it's at. I've come to love this part of the state, and all that.
You spend a lot of time here.
I do. My family does.
You spend a lot of time here.
It's really become a second home, and so I think it's great that we have that event here as well.
All right, so let's look at it from a personal angle, because we've kind of touched around this a little bit. You in your career, correct me if I'm wrong, you went to school to be a lawyer. You've been a prosecutor. You've been a judge. You've served in the Senate. Now you're a commissioner. But all of those things that you've done in the past, how does that help you today in wrangling this beast at Department of Public Safety? Because that's a big agency.
It is, and I've thought about it. And had I taken on that role without of doing those other jobs that I've had along the way, those other career paths, I would not have had the success I believe I've had at DPS without the foundation that each one of those created for me. As a prosecutor, I was on the front line of public safety.
I mean, you were a city prosecutor.
City prosecutor,
right out of school.
State prosecutor. Saw all levels of that, working with local law enforcement and state troopers early on in my career. And so that gave me that foundation. And then getting in the legislature, I learned so much about budgets. I learned so much about leadership, communication, working with people from other parts of the state.
Serving with this man.
Serving with this man who has been a great mentor.
Right.
And you get to Jackson from the coast. I mean, the first time I'd really been in the Capitol was after I'd gotten elected.
Yeah.
And there's this massive building, and you hear about all these other places in Mississippi that you're not from, and then you meet these people that are from these places you've always just heard about, and you go, wow, these are really good folks. and your love for this state grows even more. But
Senatobia, where's that?
Right, or the Delta. I remember Lydia Chazanal, I sat down with her, and I was on the tourism committee, and of course from the coast, we have some casino bills and things like that. I was like, if you want me to handle any of that kind of stuff, you let me know. I'm from the coast, and we'll push it through. And she's like, oh, sweetie, I'm from the Delta. We love all the good things that y'all love down on the coast too. Don't you worry about it. I got these.
She's from Tunica.
Oh yeah. She was from Greenwood.
Greenwood,
right there on the
okay.
plateaus.
I get it, Greenville.
Yeah, right.
But no, it's a magical place, and you learn so much about the state. You learn about leadership. You learn about budgets. You learn about the operation of different agencies, and then getting on the court and learning to be that type of leader that kind of can weigh both things and ultimately have to make tough decisions in that capacity. And so when I got to DPS, just bringing all that together, I think created a great foundation for me to take on this role. And look, there have been other great commissioners before me. There'll be other great commissioners after me. I'm just proud to have been a part of this historic agency, and hopefully kept the wheels on the cars and kept things moving forward.
Well, I would say in my lifetime, and especially my professional career over 35, 40 years, because I am old. I've been around a day or two.
I think we're the same age.
Yeah, I graduated high school in '87, so
we're Gen X.
So we're Gen X, but I am a little old. But I do believe, as the senator's saying, you have made the most impact at the department as the commissioner. I believe probably the best serving one.
More than anyone.
More than anyone that I can recall in years, and we appreciate that very much. And thank you, for the sacrifice, because it's a sacrifice. I hope people understand the gravity of the size of your department. How many employees do you have right now?
We have about 1,600 employees. Our budget, just state fund, is about $200 million. When you throw in the federal funds that come in, it gets even larger.
Right.
And it is. And I've talked to Governor Reeves several times. Obviously I have a good relationship with him in this capacity, and we've talked about different things that I could have done over the last 6 years, and opportunities that might be there. And he said that the one thing at DPS is you have to be on call all the time, and he knows it wears on me. I mean, it would wear on anybody. The average tenure for a commissioner, I looked it up, is 3.25 years is the average tenure.
And you've doubled that.
6, yeah, we've been there 6.
Yeah.
So,
and not looking to go anywhere right now.
We looked one time on the senators. The average senator was 6.5 years.
Really?
So yeah.
How about that?
What's that say for you?
He's done a great job. done a great
Right.
job.
That's what that says for you.
I
You've
don't
done a
know.
great job.
I know when I leave, the average is going to drop.
It's going to drop.
Public service is something, whether you're a senator or a judge or a commissioner or a state trooper, it can be taxing on the family. It can be taxing on you. You've got to make tough decisions a lot of times, and let's face it, people aren't going to be happy with decisions that you make, and I face that a lot as well. But
Even in personal life. I mean, because it is taxing on personal life. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I work in city government, and my own family sometimes gets frustrated that my phone goes off at 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's just days on end. It's just a constant thing. And they're like, how do you deal with it? I'm like, it's what I accepted when I took the
I can't
job.
imagine how many calls you get.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, from your agency, that's mine plus what 1,600 more. I mean, that's just insane.
Well, and look, part of it's having a great team.
Sure.
And I joked earlier about coaching my kids and
Yes.
them all doing better than me, better without me coaching. One of the things I always try to do as a coach was put together a good team.
Correct.
And find kids that can contribute and make sure they contribute in a way that they felt like they were part of the team. And that's what we've done at DPS. I've got a great team. I've got an unbelievable team. Brought in some
There
talent.
was a picture you put on your Facebook page. I think of one of your first meetings, bringing everybody in the new conference room.
Yes,
And it's full.
It is. It is. There's a lot of divisions.
I,
That we
I,
have to
I encourage people to go to your Facebook page and look at that picture. I wish I'd have had it. I should have, could have, should have, would have. I should have had it and put it up there because you're sitting at, it's a massive room.
It is.
And there's every uniform on one side and civilians on the other. And there's what, 40 people in there?
At least, yeah. So, when you break out, you got the major divisions.
Right.
And we talked about those.
Right.
But you also have your HR director, your legal director, your
Yeah.
procurement director,
Yeah.
your budget director,
Yeah.
your buildings director. And so all those folks sit around the table. And so it's a lot. But again, it's the team that's there, and they have bought into the vision of trying to knock down some of the silos that I think
Yes.
kept DPS separated, focusing on the core mission. I'm a big believer in what is our core mission and how are we going to achieve that. And it's public safety, right?
Sure.
So let's put all these other things aside and let's focus on why we're here. And they have bought into that, and that's helped lead to the successes that we've had.
I think it's fantastic.
Usually when you have a new boss, which
Yeah.
he is, it makes people mad because he makes changes.
Right.
But I haven't heard those complaints on
And
him.
you
I mean,
would.
They were all,
Right.
yeah, I would.
You would.
And they're,
Yeah.
everyone seemed to be happy with the changes, and it was all for the better, and they knew it.
Yeah. I think the folks that are there definitely feel that way. You have some traditionalists at times, I think, with particularly, let's just say the Highway Patrol, that, and they have such a storied history in our state, and I understand they want to protect it. And I've tried to emphasize to them, we are doing everything we can to protect it because it is important and it is a strong legacy. But I also have told them, and you and I've had this conversation, I think about the future, and I don't know that in 20 years, if I'm going to drive my car to Jackson, or it's going to drive me. You're right. And so technology is going to change
They
things.
may not have any speeders.
That's right. So we need to be on the
Because the car's
forefront
driving
of
themselves.
public safety in the sense that we're always going to have bad guys. And what I want at Highway Patrol or DPS is the best of the good guys
Right.
chasing those bad guys.
Correct.
Whether it's
And
on highways or the
cybersecurity
internet.
is the big crime now. isn't it?
Cybersecurity. We lose a lot more in cyber theft than we do armed robberies these days.
These days.
That's right.
These days. That's right. It's
I got
definitely
hacked
changing.
last week.
And it's still changing.
That's right.
To that cyber is growing larger and larger and larger. Even with child trafficking and all the things that's going on the internet with that. That's people don't see the ugly side of that. And the guys that work for you do.
And that's why I want the best of the good guys chasing those bad guys. And that's why law enforcement salaries are so important to me, something I've advocated for, trying to make sure we get those up, trying to make sure that we can recruit and keep the best of the best.
I saw, and your communications director may have had something to do with this, but I saw a little recruitment video, and it's a little kid walking towards I think it's a trooper car,
State trooper car.
and the car door opens, and this trooper, you don't see the head, but you see the frame of the little kid looking like, I want to grow up to be that. It's really powerful. It
Yeah,
was-
I hope y'all can play that.
I'll go get it. We'll put it in.
That is an unbelievable piece, and I
Yes.
think it speaks to again, when you look at Highway Patrol, the professionalism
Yeah,
and their
yeah.
uniforms and their cars
And they are that.
and how they stand.
Yes.
And
They
then you
take
see-
pride in that.
They do, and you see that little boy look up, and I mean it impacts. And,
It does.
And that's what we want to reach the people that this might be the calling for them to join
right.
the Department of Public Safety. And
Yeah.
that was a great piece. So.
It is a great piece, and I was like, wow, that's really, what does that say by not saying anything? That's really cool.
Sometimes you don't have to say a lot.
Sometimes you don't have to say a lot. I thought that was great advertising. All right, so I'm gonna modify my question a little bit but let's look back. 6 years. What is one thing, and you can't say building because we've talked about it. What is one other thing that you would be most proud of, that you'll be looking back on in your tenure at DPS? What is it?
We've done so many things that I think have turned the table. We talked about autopsy reports
Sure.
and the problem we had there. But I think what I'm most proud of is creating an organization that we, hopefully the legacy will be, again, what is our core mission? And let's focus on that and breaking down the silos that I think that existed
Right.
within the agency. And that's something that the building certainly helps with.
Sure.
Because
That's a
now
physical-
instead of
that's a
MBN
physical.
being in Byram and
Right.
Highway Patrol being in Woodrow Wilson, they're all in one
That's a
building.
physical of the reality.
That is. And so, and I think when we do that internally, we provide better public safety across the
Would you
state.
say it's been completely transformational?
I believe it. And I think the numbers are there. When you look at fatalities on our roadways, they're actually down. When you look at homicides, they're down. When you look at overdose deaths, they're down.
Right.
And when those types of public safety statistics are trending in the right direction, I know we're doing some right things, and we're creating a culture that is better.
One of the things we talked about last year being transformational, one of the things we talked about was Melota, the Law Enforcement Training Academy, how now the guys that are doing primarily semi-truck and trailer and managing that side of it that are uniform, going to the same school that the Highway Patrol is going to. So that you can now, if he says, hey, I want to move over to be a highway patrolman instead of what I'm doing, how has that gone since we talked last?
Well, it's gone great, and for me as a leader, if Highway Patrol has the best and toughest training in the state and the country,
Right.
why wouldn't I want every law enforcement officer in my agency to be up to those same standards?
You would.
And why wouldn't I want them all to go through the same background checks and the rigorous interview processes and make sure that as we bring folks in, they're all up to that level? And so I think hopefully in 20 years from now, when I'm maybe still here, but I'm sitting on my front porch drinking sweet tea, talking to somebody about it, they'll say, I can't imagine what it was like before you got there, because now as an agency, we all get the same training, we all operate at the same standards, we all work together.
But you need facility upgrades there.
We do.
Yeah,
Melota's
Melota's the
big
next.
project.
Yeah.
It is, and we've got pre-planned designs that we're pushing for that. My grandfather was a sheriff's deputy in Stone County, and he went to Melota in the 60s, and I found his old manual, and honestly, Senator, it hadn't changed much. There was more pine trees, as best I can tell, but it was pretty much
That's
the same.
back when the antennas on the car would reach to the moon.
The actual booklet was about hand traffic, doing hand traffic at intersections.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
think how much that's changed. So,
Really?
but no, just bringing everybody together,
Yes, right.
and changing that culture.
It takes good leadership, and we appreciate that.
Well, we've got a lot of good people. Again, they've bought into it. I did not do this on my own.
Of course not. But the leader sets the tone.
Well, and when the directors of MBN and MBI come together to me, one trooper and one MBN agent come up with a plan to consolidate, and they're not worried about getting credit or being in charge.
What does that tell
They're
you?
worried about making sure that
Yeah.
they're in the best possible place for public safety. That tells me we're doing things
Yeah,
right.
you're doing things the right way. All right, well, thank you for that.
Well, I
I got
appreciate
one last question.
Yes, sir.
So when you're not managing this agency, what do you do for fun, for Pete's sake? I mean, like, really? Now, you can't say coaching kids or going to ball. No, I want something else. What do you do for, what does Sean Tyndall do when you're, letting your hair down or putting on a T-shirt and shorts and flip-flops? What does Sean do?
There's not a lot of time with 4 kids when you get home. My wife's pretty much got an agenda set for me. Like,
course.
You're going here, you're going there.
Yeah.
I guess you could say I'm an Uber driver in my spare time. I'm driving kids. But no, for me, and it always has been, I'm very family centric. This job does take me away from them during the week.
Sure.
But I talk to my kids every day. I talk to my wife every day. My son had their high school baseball season. I did not miss a game this year. I did the public announcement. I spent a lot of time in a car driving back and forth.
I bet.
But it was important to them, and it was important to me that I be a part of that. And so I get a lot of pleasure out of being a part of my children's life. And so that is what I enjoy. Now, I've got a farm in Stone County. My mom grew up on a dairy farm there. I love getting out there and just walking through the trails down to the Wolf River.
Hop on the four-wheeler and get out in the woods. And
being there is where I find my peace. And then, but my family is just the most important thing to me. So.
Wonderful. Good insight.
Maybe I'll have hobbies one day when they all go to college and they get done.
You will have to find something to do. Trust me, I know.
What are your hobbies? I mean, you've raised three kids.
Yeah,
and
right.
done it all.
Well, first off, when they all left, I mean, Gene and I just looked at each other and said, "What now?"
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Because I mean, it was like starting all over again. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not so bad. I love my kids, and I did. You know, I'm like you. I went to every ball game. I did everything you're supposed to do, and wanted to do, from cheerleading camp to baseball tournaments to whatever. But yeah, it's you won't have a hard time staying busy. And I'm wondering the same thing about after I retire. I've got a year and a half left, so I'm wondering. I'm not going to run for re-election, so I'm wondering, what am I going to do? I know I'm going to fish. I'm going to spend time with grandkids now.
There you go.
And those are even grander than children. Believe me. So yeah, it's fun. You won't have a hard time staying busy. I promise.
I don't play golf. I don't fish a lot. I mean, it's really family time and work. I enjoy. I hate to say it. I enjoy work. I'm that guy.
Yeah, you're that guy. You enjoy. I do too. I enjoy work, and I'll get out, and I don't golf anymore either. I do like fishing.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's quiet. It's kind of like taking that quiet stroll on the farm.
It is.
I enjoy real estate. I like developing real estate. I've got rentals on the coast and apartments and trailer parks and different things. So I enjoy that.
So you dabble.
I dabble.
You dabble.
That's right.
That would be your hobby.
That's it.
You just kind of dabble in just different stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense though, because you have an efficient mind. And so you see, I can do something with that. I can do something with that. So that's dabbling. That's what you do.
That's what my wife says. And she tells me, quit dabbling.
Quit dabbling. There you go.
Oh, man of vision.
A man of vision. That's right.
Well, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I mean, you've made my job a lot easier, let me tell you.
Look, I appreciate both of you gentlemen. Thank you, Dean, for bringing him in.
Oh, honored. We need to do it again.
Yeah, every year. We'll at least have you once a year, maybe more than that. But Commissioner, thank you. Thank you for the job you do. Thank you for spending some time with us, helping everybody just kind of understand who you are. Well, I think that's to me, conversations and just talking about it really is better than just sitting down and answering a whole bunch of questions or running a campaign ad.
Yeah, and having called in where somebody's want to call him about a pothole somewhere.
Yeah, so what?
That's right.
Get over
this
it.
is much better.
I got a question the other day. I saw somebody in the grocery store at home, and she goes, I wanted to ask you about what's the work they're doing up there on Highway 67. I said, look, I patrol it, but I have nothing to do with the potholes and what's going on.
No idea.
That's somebody else.
No idea.
But I'll find the answer for you.
We have good folks take care of that.
Yeah, I've got a number for you. I'll call them real quick. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Stay safe, Mississippi.
Yeah, stay safe. Thank you, guys. All right, so y'all don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit about what's going on this week in Pearl. We'll be right back.
Here in Pearl, we have Trustmark Park. It seats 8,500 people. It's a great venue that we have here locally. You can catch a baseball game. We have a new team, the Mississippi Mud Monsters, so we're so excited about that. And Trustmark Park, the stadium's been fully renovated. Adjacent to that, we have Bass Pro Shop, as well as the Mississippi outlets that people can come shop and enjoy and have a great time. So it's a good place to come. It's a destination spot for our city. We did a $12 million renovation to our Parks and Rec several years ago, and what we were missing was another key area for our children to come and just be able to hang out and have fun, but also have some playground equipment that was really cutting edge. I've always thought if you can get your community together, then you can have a stronger sense of community. And I think that's what Main Street brings to the table for us. And even though we're a post-World War II city and our architectural doesn't signify a downtown, we're trying to have an area that we create that people can come together and have a sense of community.
Hi folks, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and that was exciting. I really enjoyed speaking with Commissioner Tindall, and we want to thank him very much for his leadership. 6 years that he's been there, and truly I do believe it has been a transformational service for him. He has done so much over at that department and moving into that new building that we just were able to show you guys, and all the things that have happened at DPS. Very good job. We do appreciate that very much, Commissioner, and thank you for spending a little bit of time with us today. We appreciate it. All right, so now, what's going on this week in Pearl? Well, let me tell you. Starting on Thursday, May the 7th, the Mississippi Mud Monsters will start the baseball season officially. It's set for May 7th, which is a Thursday. There'll be 51 home games being played at Trustmark Park this year. But the opening day series begins with the Gateway Grizzlies tomorrow. I guess we film on Wednesday, so really that's a Thursday. This will play all the way into next week, but just know that the Mud Monsters start officially May 7th. So go out and watch a baseball game. They are a lot of fun, and it is good baseball. It's fantastic baseball with the partner league of MLB. All right, Pearl High School graduation coming up May 14th at the Coliseum. You can watch that live right here at 7 p.m. We will be bringing that to you into your TV set or your Facebook or YouTube or however you like to consume this show. We will be broadcasting it right here. But if you've got a kid graduating, congratulations. That will be next May 14th at 7 p.m. Also, Main Street Pearl has their summer concert series, which kicks off, starts May 22nd. It's Boys in the Band will be the first one. It's an Alabama tribute band, so it's an Alabama country. It's country. I think you'll really like that one. And then the following day, Saturday, May 23rd, they have the Neon Mooners. And then the following weekend, May 29th, is the Molly Ringwalds, and Saturday, May 30th, are the Arena Rock Show. Here's the cool thing. All of this is free. It costs nothing. It's going to be in the city park starting May 22nd and 23rd, and then the following weekend, which will be the 29th and the 30th. So be sure and bring a chair. Every concert's held out there at the park, right there on 80 and a corner of Mary Ann in our brand new park facility out there. Hey, look, I've enjoyed bringing you this show each and every week. Enjoy doing this and having conversations with the elected leaders and officials in our city and in our state and county. Really enjoy doing it. Glad to bring it to you. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and we will see you next time.